Hello, hello, good afternoon, good day, good night, wherever you are watching from. I send you greetings. This is Nisa here with Crucian Kitchen Creations, and I'm just giving you a little update on my garden. You know, that's one thing about Crucian Cooks is that traditionally you really do take care of growing your own food. I know that we are very familiar with this. I'm sure all of us grew up with trees, mango trees, lime trees, bush for picking tea, all of that stuff. So we are a people who have no problem being at one with the earth, if you will. But I wanted to give you an update on the things that I have grown and what I plan to do with it out of our holy grail of Crucian cooking, that is Laoi Cook. So I'm going to turn it around and see if you can see it. I have been growing a cucumber plant. And see how big the leaves are. We got a nice rain, and every flower is going to become a cucumber. Okay, so I have two plants. This one over here too. Now cucumbers you've got to stake. I learned that from my mother. And I didn't realize that. I thought they kind of crawled about the ground, but you've got to stake them. And so there was the initial stake. And then we have a thing here for growing some other vine plants, and the cucumbers have taken to it very nicely. And what I have here is my first little cucumber. Look at that. And then I have another little one growing here. Now, the recipe is called pickled wild cucumber. And I don't know if these are wild cucumbers, they're organic. Where I got it from is there is a greenhouse project at the high school where I teach, which I think is wonderful because it's teaching kids gardening and agricultural skills, and we desperately need that back in our communities. So I really love to buy the plants from the kids from the greenhouse when they're done. As you know, I have things on my front porch too. So I don't know if these are wild cucumbers. They have a funny look about them, at least this one curling up. But whatever kind of cucumbers they are, which are growing so nicely, look at that. Look at all the yellow flowers. That means I'm going to get plants. Whatever they are, I am going to use the recipe from Miss McKay's book to pickle them. I also have some plants growing here. I cannot remember what these are. I think these are a flower of some sort, and they are sprouting. That's very nice. I'm very excited about that. But let me show you what I'm very excited about. I have a shoot here for peas, for snap peas. Isn't that nice? That's going to hopefully grow very well if I continue to take care of it. And part of how I help my plants to grow, and something that you might want to consider, is composting. Now, that's the fancy word for the same thing your grandmother used to do, or at least mine and my father, when you would throw vegetable food scraps and fruit and seed and peel and thing over the gallery, right, into the dirt. I know at my grandmother's house, the chickens would pick on it, but it would also help to enrich the soil. And at home at my house, you know, the one thing my father would always warn us about when we were eating knips was don't throw the knip seed right over. You crack it with your teeth so it doesn't grow and mess up the cistern. But this is my compost bin. And it's going to look a little nasty when you look inside. Oh, nasty. But that is, honest to goodness, great fertilizer. I pull it out from underneath here, and I mix it with a little dry dirt. And you have to be very careful with it because it's extremely powerful. So you put some in. I like to use a big empty jug, plastic jug of some sort, and you put a small amount in of the compost and the dirt mix, and then you fill it up with water. So it would be about this much of the compost dirt mix and that much water. That's how concentrated and powerful it is. but it will make your plants flourish. So whether you have an official compost bin or whether you do it unofficially like my grandmother and my father did, you can just use that dirt. Okay, use that and it will help a lot. And I'm going to check this one spot right over here because I can't tell if this is a morning glory that I planted or I had a bunch of seeds, and sometimes I'd just throw seeds out into things. So, what can I say? But I just wanted to remind you all of that it's summertime. Get your hands in the dirt. You're going to reap what you sow, which is beautiful, delicious vegetables or fruit. You're going to be able to use them in all kinds of lovely ways. And I'm looking forward to harvesting my first set of little cucumbers so I can make a video on how to make the wild pickled cucumber recipe for you. So thank you for checking in or letting me check in. I'm sorry that I haven't been doing any active cooking. There's a lot going on in my life right now, but I promise you I will do something with these cucumbers. I'll pickle them the Crucian way and let you see how I do it. Take care. God bless.